I thought that why is it that people are okay to bring a water bottle but not okay to carry a cup for their coffee?
Having paper-based plastic cup.
All hot cups that you see has a thin layer of plastic in it. If you're using with a hot beverage, simple paper is not going to serve the purpose.
You wanted to have something which is stainless steel but
Correct.
collapses.
I left my 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
You thought maybe let me quit and then start thinking.
And I tried going back to work, but nobody wanted to hire a pregnant woman. The day my son was born, we were doing about $40,000 a month.
You put maybe $5,000.
I didn't really regret what happened, but at the same time, I wanted some clarity. Over time, we did about 7 figures per year business, about $1 million.
This business was running phenomenal.
Yeah.
Why did you end up selling this?
So I could see the category was getting super crowded.
Did you look for a lot of buyers who would buy your company?
I wanted to sell the brand where we were at a peak.
Coffee cups that we get on they are disposable or they are not?
It's a myth. People think that they are recyclable. They are actually just going in the landfills. And it is extremely harmful for our health. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not aware of it.
I can build a prototype. I put it on Kickstarter. Will I get funding?
Crowdfunding is a great way to get funding.
People responsive on LinkedIn, are they willing to help and all?
My initial goal was $10,000. But I ended up raising $220,000 in just 30 days.
Did you get an invite from Shark Tank?
Even before you make the profit.
That money directly comes to your bank account?
I'll tell you the numbers, right? There's also lots of delays where people were like, okay, you know what, you're scamming us, just go.
If somebody has a 9 to 5, wants to quit, what should they do? Thank you so much for all the love and support that you've given to Diaries of California. I'm truly grateful and humbled. I have one small request though. If you enjoy conversations like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free for you, but it will help me bring a lot of inspiring and valuable guests. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, Vandita, welcome to Diaries of California. It's so good to see you here.
So good to see you too. Super
Cool.
excited.
You were working at a lot of investment banks before in New York. You left your day job, started exploring various different businesses around you. And what was the trigger point? The reason I'm asking this is there's so many people who want to do this. There's so many people who are not happy with their day job. So what was the point where you thought I'll quit and I'll start something new?
So to give you a little bit about my journey, right? So I did my master's here. I'm originally from India and I came here to do my master's in computer science, like a lot of Indian Asian people,
Yeah.
right? So I did my master's from Michigan in 2008 and then worked in investment banking. I moved to New York where I got my first job, worked in banking for about 7 years. I was a software developer, quintessential Desi software developer.
Yeah.
It was great. I felt like there was a lot of skill set that I learned during like my master's and engineering. But I was not getting the kick out of it, right?
Yeah.
And I did it for many years, but after I got my green card, I was like, at some point, I really need to get the higher purpose.
Got it.
The salary wasn't giving me the motivation enough, and I really didn't have the motivation to keep going. I was getting Monday blues, which is not a great thing, and I felt like, I could do a lot better with my life if I did something different. And entrepreneurship was the answer. And when I got my green card, I was like, let's do it. I told my husband to give me 1 year to prove myself.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to work. That was the original plan. So, and between me and my husband, we did some savings. Like I worked for about 7 years. So I had some savings and he had a day job as well. So we could afford to kind of take this little bit of uncertainty, little bit of unstable life and venture into a whole different world.
Like a lot of people think, but what you have done is something incredible, right?
Thank you.
Like going from taking that decision because you're in comfort zone, you're making good amount of money, and then you quit and then you start exploring totally an unknown territory,
Yeah.
right? My question is, did you have any concept in mind that you wanted to pursue? Or you thought maybe let me quit and then start thinking? Because there are pros and cons of both the approaches, right? We can deep dive more into it. But I just wanted to understand whether you had an idea that you wanted to shape further, or you thought like, first I want to break so that I start processing what exactly do I want to do on daily basis.
No, so in my case, I had had an idea before I quit because I
Hmm.
didn't want to get into something where I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So, and this was also, the timing was such so where my daughter was just born like about a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
and she was still a toddler.
Yeah.
So we were buying a lot of toys for her.
Nice.
And it was like, being a typical millennial mom, I was being super conscious about the kind of toys,
Yep.
what she's learning, her milestones. So, in my own experience as a mother, I was experiencing that there was a need in the market for something which was like educational toys, but based on the age and the milestone of the kid. So the idea I had inseminated at that time was to have like a rental service for educational toys.
Yes.
And you know me, like I'm always into sustainability. So
Yes.
I was getting tired of like, so much toys, so
Yes.
many toys in my house and the clutter that goes with it.
Yeah.
And every few months they grow up and, the toys are still lingering. And then, so I thought it would be a better concept if we had like a rental service, and a subscription box would be delivered to your house based on your child's age and milestone.
Yeah.
And they could keep it for a month and then return it, and next month you get a different set of toys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the idea. I named it Le Bundle, which is like,
Okay.
French, they call Le Bundle a
Oh.
sweet bundle for your child, right? So it was a very unique experience for me. I ran it for about 8 months. We had about 300 paying customers recurring, which
Wow.
was a good traction.
Yeah.
I had a lot of challenges on the operation side of it, right?
Yeah.
Because hiring in US is super expensive.
Yeah.
So I was there, like, sitting like, so what I did was like, I bought a lot of educational toys from super curated brands.
Okay.
These are brands that you would never see on Toys R Us or any other places,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, wow.
Super unique names that nobody has heard of, and all wooden toys, no plastic, and
Okay.
really high quality ones. And based on that, so we had like a website where you could register your child's age and milestones
Wow.
and the things that you want your child to learn and stuff, right? So based on that, we'd send bundles every month, right? So there I was like, I had like we were living in an apartment of 2 bedroom,
Yeah.
and one whole bedroom was just full of toys. And I was just busy like crazy. I was packing boxes every day myself. I was cleaning the toys that came back, sanitize it like 3 times, and then dry it,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
stack it,
Yeah.
and then put it back. So that whole operation things was extremely taxing for me.
Yeah.
I did it for about 6 months, but this was also the time when I was pregnant with my second baby.
Okay.
And over time, like, it was getting really hard for me to keep operating like this. And I was trying to fundraise, but it was getting really hard for me to do that at that point also. It was a very learning experience for me, but ultimately I had to close that brand because like I lost 20 pounds during pregnancy, which was a very bad idea. So for my own health reason, I decided to kind of fold that company. So yeah.
So for that particular business, was that ever a challenge that people were skeptical to buy used toys? Because like for first time parents, especially in US, where like there's a segment, definitely use that.
Yeah.
But there would be a segment who wouldn't.
Yeah.
So were you able to find good amount of people who were okay to buy like somebody else's toy?
Like there are always all kinds of people, right? And yes, there are people like who don't want absolutely new toys, wrapped up, and there are people, there's a big market for people who are into sustainability, who only have hand-me-downs, right? And I was only part of so we had about 300 paying customers every month.
Nice.
And all of these people came organically.
Wow.
I spent $0 in ad in that company.
Amazing.
So I was pretty confident that if I kept running this, I would have this company would have done pretty well. But one learning that I had was I couldn't handle the operations alone.
Yeah.
So we needed like 3PL services who could do this for me. I tried to find out a lot of such services who could handle this, but there were no services like that for rental market.
Got it.
There are lots of 3PL who can do like inventory management. You provide them and they just ship it, right?
Yeah.
Fulfill the orders. But at that time there were no such services who could do like, um, rent and then, have it back and then repeat, right? So that kind of model was not working for me.
Got it.
And my own like health reasons, like it was just getting really hard for me to go through the pregnancy and operate the brand at the same time, try to fundraise. If we were able to fundraise at that time, things would have been a different,
Yeah.
but it was just
Yeah,
but
no,
lots of learning from there, so
absolutely.
I'm like no regrets.
It's also very important to understand that it's time to pivot,
Yeah.
right? Because you cannot endlessly go into
Correct,
anything
yeah.
which we feel that is we are unable to scale because of any reason, XYZ reasons, right? So from there, what was your next venture?
So from there, it was a very funny place where I was sitting in, because remember I was telling my husband that if it doesn't go back, I'll go back to work, right? So it didn't work out, but I was also pregnant, and I tried going back to work, but nobody wanted to hire a pregnant woman. So there I was, like 4 months pregnant, and I didn't have a job, and I tried something that didn't work, and it was a very dark period of my life, because I'm a super ambitious woman, and it was really hard for me to be at a place where I all doors were closed, and I was nowhere, and there was a baby coming, but at the same time I care about my career and my choices that I made. I didn't really regret what happened, but at the same time I wanted some clarity. So when I couldn't do anything, I started looking for online videos on how to make money from home, right? Because I wanted to make money. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can't do anything else. Might as well try to make the best out of it. So I started looking for like market research and product research. And I did a lot of competitive analysis. And I used some tools where I was able to get like the best market trends and a trend which is not super competitive, but growing really upwards. So also connecting it to my investment banking days, right? Like really trying to find the niche in the market. And based on that, I came up with like a set of products which I thought would do well in the market.
Got it.
Right. So I was like, okay, I'm sitting home. I can't do much. So might as well, like, try to see what I can do with whatever I can learn at this time. So the second company that I launched was a true experiment. It was a full experiment on what things I wanted to try and see what happens, right? So I came up with like a list of products which I thought could do well, and then I sourced it from Alibaba.com. And at that point, we were also living in the suburbs, so we had like a big garage, so we could like order a few cups of a few products. And so I launched that company. In 4 months, that company was doing $20,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
And I remember the day my son was born, I was pregnant when I started it. Like I was packing all the stuff, and it was going to Amazon fulfillment center. So the entire product, the entire brand was more of like an Amazon FBA seller brand. And I launched that brand when I was pregnant, like 4 months pregnant. And then the day my son was born, we were doing about $40,000 a month revenue. So it was pretty well done. And over time, we did about 7 figures per year business, about $1 million per year. And eventually, after 3.5 years, almost 4 years, that brand got acquired.
Wow. So inspiring. Like you were totally in a situation where you might have thought like, what exactly will I do? And from there, like you started exploring, I think this was much before ChatGPT or any kind of AI tools we could use, right? It was purely a YouTube learning is what I could understand. You started watching YouTube videos. What all things can I do? How can I make money sitting at home? And that too without external investment, completely bootstrapped, right?
It was like $5,000 of my own investment.
Wow.
So,
this is amazing. You started exploring that. Before I jump into what exactly were the details of those business, I wanted to understand, can you give top 5 things where people can simply make money sitting at home?
In terms of like what all things you can do, right? So Amazon was one of my top, because there was like a lot of potential. for people who are like, I just want to have a side passive income kind of thing, there are lots of things like affiliate marketing is one, right? Nowadays, social media is such a big thing.
Yeah.
You can, like, if somebody is into it,
Yeah.
like I know
Content
a lot
creation.
of our common friends, right?
Yeah.
People actually have accounts, and
Yeah.
just make sure you pick a niche where you can actually make money,
Yeah.
because not every niche is going to
Yeah.
give you opportunities to kind of have products.
Yeah.
And so travel related, food bloggers, food related, or there's so many, like especially for moms, like stay-at-home moms, a lot of people, what they do is have their own channels and then
Yeah.
advertise some other products, right? So that's also one way of affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, are there any good options around like buying vending machines and deploying it at some different places where like you put maybe $5,000,
Yeah.
that vending machine gets deployed to some place and then you start making a passive income out
Yeah.
of it on regular basis? Like, is it a good business?
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it depends. Like, so I did not want to get into something like that because my goal was to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I would rather, like, because anything that you start would have tons of challenges,
Yeah.
right? And so if you want to get into the challenging part, might as well do something that has higher potential,
Got
because then it won't be worth it to get into something which is going to give you some money but a lot of headache.
Yeah.
So I mean, the headache is going to be there.
For
so
sure,
might as well
yeah.
get into a category where you get higher upside
Yeah.
on it.
So more on a high risk, high
yeah,
reward.
yeah, exactly.
side,
Yeah.
Got it. And then deep diving more into this Amazon business, right? Just for simplifying it, right? So you used to buy things from Alibaba,
Yeah.
AliExpress in bulk,
Alibaba,
basically,
yeah.
Alibaba.com. So you used to buy things from Alibaba in bulk.
Yeah.
Pick the product
Mhm.
and you ship directly to Amazon
Yeah.
fulfillment center. So it doesn't come to your home. So the problem that you faced in the first business where things were all coming to your
Yeah.
home, that is gone.
That's gone.
Right. And then you buy things at a cheaper price
Mhm.
and then sell it on Amazon.
Exactly.
Amazon takes care of fulfillment, returns,
operations.
shipping, everything, right? All the life cycle around a product shipping, it takes care of it. So the idea there is to select a product. That is very important.
Yeah. So select and also marketing, right? So in my brand, as part of my private label, white label brand that I had, it was called Body Made Pro. I had 4 products. Out of those 4 products, 2 products were doing insanely well, right?
Wow.
So when I chose that product, there were only 5 sellers doing
Wow.
similar thing on Amazon. So I was like, okay, these sellers are doing pretty well. Their revenues are great. If I get into it, it's not a super crowded space. So let's try that, right? So I ordered about 200 units of that in my garage. Then, I don't want to have because Amazon also charges you for storage. So you don't want to have the entire thing gone, right?
Yeah.
So I would store it in my garage, send it to the fulfillment center, a few of them. And then I also learned marketing. So I didn't hire anyone in that company because I really wanted to get my hands dirty and learn everything about running a business, starting from sourcing to inventory management to supply chain operations and then marketing as well, right? So I think 2 things which were key for this. Number 1 was sourcing the right products, and number 2 is marketing.
Got
So
it.
both things I would say go very hand in hand. Get the right products, make sure that it's front of the right people. So
Got it.
yeah.
You used a lot of learnings from the first business and applied everything here,
Yeah.
right? What was your product basically?
So my hero product was a compression wrap. It was a hip support brace, which
Got
had nothing to do with me, but it was a super profitable product that I thought would do pretty well in the market, right? So it was a sciatica hip support wrap, and that is what I had 2 colors in that and 3 different sizes. And when I started that, there were 5 sellers, and in about a month and a half, I was able to surpass their revenue.
Wow.
And we became like a bestseller on Amazon
Wow.
and in the thigh support category, right? So it was a best-selling number 1 bestseller product for about 3 years.
Wow. This is a very interesting thing, right? Like you not go for iPhone chargers or iPhone cover
Exactly.
cases.
Yeah.
Like maybe because it's a very cluttered category. Like
Crowded.
and then like how did you even figure out, because you were very young, you did not have anything
Yeah.
to do with like hip
Support
injuries,
brand.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So how did you figure out like this was or this is the product that I want to go with?
So I did a lot of market research, right? So I used there are many tools. There is one tool which is like Google Keyword Planner.
Okay.
So the Keyword Planner will give you a lot of details about SEO, search engine optimization, right?
Okay.
And you can use this for using the right keywords, which keywords are doing the best in the market, making the most money. So a lot of research, in short,
Got
right?
it.
There's another tool called Helium 10, which
Okay.
is an Amazon tool, not affiliated with Amazon, but a third party tool
Got it.
that gives you like revenue and sales of every seller on Amazon.
Oh, beautiful.
And then there is another called Jungle Scout,
Jungle Scout.
and this was, I'm talking about like 6 years ago. Now
Yeah.
I'm sure there are many more.
Now I think
Yeah,
ChatGPT can do a lot of
exactly,
these
a lot
things.
of research. I did what this
Yeah,
would
yeah.
have been taken care of, right?
Yeah. What was your like cost price, or like how much
Yeah.
were you paying per item to Alibaba?
Yeah, so my unit price was $3.5.
$3.5.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
was selling at $29.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then how much does Amazon keep for? Because
Amazon-
Amazon is doing a lot of shipment,
Yeah.
fulfillment, everything,
Yeah.
right?
So including the FBA fee, fulfillment by Amazon, plus
Okay.
storage fee, they would charge me about $5. So
Okay.
5 plus 3, and then some marketing cost.
Okay. And marketing, there was no Instagram reels during that particular
No,
point in
this
time? It's
entire marketing was done on Amazon.
on Amazon. So if I search a product, I see sponsored
Yeah,
tag.
exactly.
That's the
Yeah,
marketing
was
that
the
we're talking.
marketing.
Okay, and then like a lot of people don't pay attention, right? Like when I search a product, I see a sponsored tag. Usually they have really high reviews, and then I see a lot of organic posts and everything.
Yeah.
So maybe the idea is a lot of people click like on first two if the views and everything
Yeah.
is good, and you were top, like you were Amazon choice. You got that Amazon choice tag or something.
Bestseller, yeah.
Bestseller
Yeah.
tag, right? There are two tags, right? One is
Yeah.
bestseller and
And Amazon choice.
Amazon
yeah.
choice. What is the difference between two?
So bestseller means your product is bestseller, right?
Okay.
It would always show up. Amazon choice can be for a particular keyword.
Okay.
So for example, if my product is a sciatica support brace,
Hmm.
and I'm using about 100 keywords for me to make sure my product shows up, right? So it's a sciatica support brace, but hip injury person can also order, like there could be many ways to search for it, right? So Amazon choice is for that particular keyword. So if this particular keyword, if somebody looks for it, then maybe your product, if it's doing pretty well, it'll show up as an Amazon choice.
Got it, got it. But I'm still surprised because you were so new to this. How did you go into even hip support? Like it's just the research and a lot of YouTube videos that you watched. That's how. Because
So I was,
yeah, this is like if today I will simply prompt ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
But how could you even do this without all the support and help? And like, or did you consult a lot of people who are already doing this?
so I didn't consult anyone. It was
Okay.
pure YouTube,
Wow.
just learning. I mean, many days and weeks of like just watching and binge watching every video
Wow.
on YouTube related to this topic.
Yeah.
And because I was so like at a place where I really wanted to make it work, I thought, it's worth giving a shot because,
Yeah.
when in life where you're at a place where
Yeah.
there's no other option, you
Yeah.
have any option looks good and you give your
Right.
best, right?
You utilize that time
Yeah.
where you were at home
Yeah.
and like you just wanted to watch something, you would have watched Netflix or but you utilized your time perfectly. You were able to establish a business which could earn $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
Wow, that is absolutely
yeah.
insane.
And I mean, we're doing 80,000 a month by year 3.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like a golden brand.
Golden brand. Wow. And then how does the rating work?
Amazon is absolutely super strict about reviews. You cannot fake it. You cannot try to manipulate the reviews or do anything, right? So in the beginning, like I had 0 reviews. So obviously it was really hard for my product to kind of make it work. So what I did, I asked some friends and family to kind of buy products for me. And, I
Okay.
you also, if you remember, right?
Yeah,
So that helped with like the first 20 reviews, but beyond that you cannot reach,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So with time, like I just had to be more consistent and keep asking for reviews, and
Got it.
thankfully our product was doing pretty well, so people were giving great reviews about it. And So that, yeah, we were consistently about 4.7 rating until even today. Like if you look up at the product, it's still a bestseller on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's doing pretty well, and yeah,
So first when you got it and post that, like it was purely organic.
purely organic, yeah, because like I didn't have the budget to kind of have influencers.
Yeah.
Everything was bootstrapped, and
Correct.
I was just trying
Yeah.
to be as scrappy as possible. So just like being more patient and having people respond, and yeah, so that
Correct,
was the
correct.
strategy to
That was
kind
the
of just
strategy.
keep building. And thankfully, it was not a super crowded category, so
Yeah.
people were still taking a chance on the new product because they just saw it, and
Yeah.
when somebody is in pain with sciatica, they are probably just looking for help.
Yeah.
And with good reviews, just converting well. So
Got it. And with this kind of business, right, where like things are not even coming to your doorstep, they're going directly to the Amazon fulfillment centers. How do
yeah.
you make sure the quality is good?
So in the first 5 months, I was bringing all the products here, and there are so many pictures of me with a pregnant belly and trying to like really check the quality of every product before, because I was getting super panicky about
Yeah,
because you were
exactly.
sending something, you don't want to. And I've never met these suppliers and never
Yeah.
seen them in person, only spoke on Skype and WeChat, right? So at that point, I was really checking everything, but after the fourth or fifth month, when Amazon is also very strict about its quality, when the reviews dip,
Exactly, yeah.
they would probably send the whole batch. It happened to us once,
Yeah.
actually. They sent the whole batch to our house, and then we had to really like open all the boxes, check,
Interesting.
and then could be like just a few products which are bad, but over time we could really build trust with our suppliers. And I was able to kind of like have this, okay, you know what, this is going great, we can send it directly, and focus more on marketing instead of wasting time and kind of opening
Got
and doing all this. So
Wow, interesting. And this business was running phenomenal.
yeah.
Why did you end up selling this? Because now you wanted to achieve a bigger purpose, or like what exactly? Now the same question,
Yeah.
but now the thing is situation is different.
Right.
You're in a very happy space.
Yes.
Everything is working fine. Like you're earning really good amount of money, maybe more than what you were
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
earning while you were working
Yeah.
in investment banks. Now, what was the point where you decided that I need to just sell this business? Because or people approached you and then you decided, yeah.
So there were two reasons why I sold this brand, right? So if you remember, these products were all white label products, right? There was no unique value proposition, all based on data.
Yeah.
So with like just data driven approach of
Yeah.
scouting for the better
Yeah.
markets, right?
Yeah.
When I started this brand, we had only 5 sellers. But because my product was doing pretty well and it was a bestseller, new suppliers came in, new people, new vendors on Amazon came up with the same exact product with a different name, right? So I could see the category was getting super crowded.
Got it.
And while we were still doing great, I could see that this is not a long-term sustainable business.
Yeah.
It will only last for some more time, and then the category would get super crowded, and then the pie is just getting smaller and smaller.
Got it.
Although that was not the case for me, so I was like, before that happens, I want to make sure that I get the best out of the buck, right?
Wow.
So that was number one reason. And number two reason was also personal, very personal to me, where I was not getting the fulfillment, right? So I was thinking, as a person, I felt like, I have nothing to do with sciatica support traps. And I was kind of at a place where I felt like I wanted to build something that I truly care about, right? And I felt like, okay, this is great. The numbers are great. The revenue's looking good. But I really don't have I wanted to do something more mission driven and something more
Got it.
purpose driven.
And then you mentioned that this category was getting cluttered, right? Is this a common problem for anybody who wants to start Amazon business? Maybe they want to
Absolutely.
continue it,
Absolutely.
but do they should they constantly pivot, or should they branch this out into multiple different categories where one category gets cluttered, you still have backup, and every 2.5 years you keep on iterating or shifting your products towards multiple different things and repeating the same process?
No, it's absolutely one of the biggest problems that people face as Amazon sellers, right?
Yeah.
Especially because you really don't have anything differentiate unless you have it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a different thing. But I've seen a lot of people going back, if I had to kind of do something different about that brand, I could have kind of changed that product just a little bit
Yeah.
and file patent on it. And then,
Got
I've
it.
seen a lot of people do that. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good, bad, whatever, but, they kind of file design patents based on something unique in that own product and then really own that space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
seen people do that, but
Yeah.
it's not easy actually to kind of really back your patent if you don't
Correct.
really have something unique.
Yep.
So
I understood from this particular journey is like when we buy simple things like iPhone cases or maybe cups or anyway like very very basic decor home decor items, you see the same items sold by multiple sellers. So eventually there's the same supplier
Yeah.
who's doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe once you put your label or brand name on a particular like belt or a cup or a case and everything, maybe they charge a little bit extra, so that gives you some brand identity, but eventually it's the same
It's the same
content
thing. It's the
or
same exact
same
thing.
product.
Like, and pretty much, I think the review is the only thing that can differentiate you based
Yeah.
on like if you're sourcing from a good supplier
Yeah, yeah.
versus a bad supplier, right?
Yeah.
So it is true for a lot of Amazon sellers. People get into a very super optimistic ways
Yeah.
and try to kind of
Yeah.
get stuff in, but
Yeah.
it's not an easy business. Like Amazon business is super brutal. Amazon is super strict about its own things. And winning that buy box, there's something called buy box, right?
Okay.
So there's bidding war, right? So you like there are like if there are 10 sellers selling the same product, they're all bidding on that buy box to get that buy, right? And then you have to spend a lot of money to win that buy box.
Correct.
And so it becomes not every Amazon seller gets profitable.
Like if you want to understand how to build a product and sell it, this is an easiest thing
It's
from
the
an
easiest
investment
way.
point
Yeah,
of view.
totally.
A lot of people can potentially do, obviously they should have correct immigration status and everything, but this people can still do with their full-time jobs
Absolutely.
as well.
It's a complete passive income if
Yeah.
you're able to get it right.
At that time there were no tariffs and things like that, so now there are tariffs for a lot of different countries. Like, have the margins gone down for these particular businesses with tariffs?
Yeah, so I mean, we had tariffs during that time, but it was still like smaller, more practical, feasible kind of tariffs. But last year, I think the tariffs went up like crazy. Now, I think the Supreme Court has again brought it down, so which is a good thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, last year was a super brutal period for everyone who's like sourcing products
things
from other countries, right?
Yeah.
Super uncertain time.
Did you look for a lot of buyers who would buy your company, or somebody proactively reached out to you?
So when I at some point, I mean, while I was still building it, like my kids were also growing up, and it was a very golden period in my life because like the money was great and I was still able to be with the mom that I wanted, spend enough times when the kids were younger. And at the same time, I was learning like crazy because every new day I would have new problems to solve and, but at some point I could see that, okay, this is not a forever brand because no differentiation. Plus I felt like, okay, I was in corporate. It was a total different identity to a Amazon seller, that at some point I was like, you know what, I want to do something more meaningful with my life, right? I want to do something which is maybe build something. Now that I've done this thing successfully, hopefully, if I launch another brand where I feel truly connected to, then it would last for a longer time, right?
Correct.
So at that point, I decided to really try to see like how to get the brand acquired. And then there are like, I found out there was some brokers that I could hire to find buyers. And I tried 2 brokers before I found the final one. And this company I used was Website Closers. And so one of their brokers is David. He's a very good friend of mine now. So so he helped me get the buyers. Pretty much in 2 weeks, I was able to get 3 offers.
And those were local people?
Local in US. So I got that brand acquired in March. And I was like, okay, let me just take some time off, think about what I wanted to do next. Because I don't want to rush into anything. So I took like at least 6 months off. And I started exploring on what I wanted to do next. One was sure that I wanted to get into a very mission-driven brand. And I don't know if there's so many brands, right? Like Patagonia and, Allbirds were all mission-driven. I was super inspired by their branding and their, the way they were able to bring purpose in profit together, right? That that was a total new concept for me. And where I felt like, okay, in today is such a good time to do business, because it's not just about profit. People
Correct.
actually value if you're doing something good, right? So I started thinking in that direction. And at that point, Stanleys were also, even today, like Stanley drinkware brand, it was
Yes.
so popular. Like I could
Yeah.
see that everyone
Yeah.
sitting were carrying the
Yeah.
Stanleys. So super interesting thing happened. I was sitting at a cafe actually,
Hmm.
and I saw that everyone sitting at the cafe had a Stanley water bottle, and
Okay.
they were sipping water out of their Stanley, but ordering coffee out of disposable cups.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So this is the moment that kind of, so I thought that why is it that people are okay to bring a water bottle,
Hmm.
but not okay to carry a cup for their coffee,
Interesting.
right? So, and I started talking to random people just to get some feedback, right? So I asked them that why is it that what stops you from bringing a coffee cup? And most people said that, like water and coffee is very different. The use case for water is like sipping water all day, but for coffee it's like momentarily, you're just sipping it for some time and then done with it. For something like that, people were not okay to bring a bulky container.
Interesting.
And that's where the portability element came in, and I
Got
thought
it.
that maybe we need something more like portable for coffee.
Yes. And the coffee cups that we get on Starbucks and any other coffee shops, basically, they are disposable or they are not?
That's the thing, right? It's, of course, it's disposable.
Hmm.
And people, that's a myth. People think that they are recyclable, but
Oh, okay.
they're
Ah,
not,
yeah. Okay,
right?
so they are not
So
recyclable.
they're not recyclable. So every coffee, all hot cups that you see has a thin layer of plastic in it to prevent any leakage. Because if you're
Got
using with a hot beverage, simple paper is not going to serve the purpose, right?
Got it.
So every paper cup has like a thin plastic lining,
Interesting.
and when it's been used and disposed, this they cannot separate the plastic from the paper. So unfortunately, all of these hot paper cups are not getting recycled. They are actually just going in the landfills.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it was a very sad thing for me to
Yeah.
discover.
I learned something today that like these cups are not recyclable.
Yeah.
I thought that they are paper, so paper is recyclable, but I understand that like paper cannot hold a lot of liquid. So
Yeah.
basically, it's not the line where it's attached to a fold. It's
Yeah.
You're not talking about that, right? You're talking about the like plastic is
Is
ingressed part of the paper.
exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine like two layers of paper,
Hmm.
and there's like a thin layer of plastic in between.
Got it.
That is so it can take the hot beverage and
Got
it
it.
doesn't fall apart, right? You don't want the paper cup cannot take such a hot beverage
Yeah.
and stay together,
Yeah.
right?
For health reasons, is it like
It's
okay?
really bad actually.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Our body dissolves that inside, like while processing, or it throws that away?
No, so the thing is, I don't know if you know the concept of leaching, right?
I
So
don't know.
any plastic that touches food, and especially hot beverages or hot food, if you have direct contact with plastic, then that plastic, little bit of plastic goes in your food.
Microplastics. Yeah.
Exactly,
Got it.
right? So that is what is leaching, and it is extremely harmful for our health. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not aware of it.
Yeah, just
And
even I wasn't
yeah,
aware.
so
Like I
it's-
thought it's a paper cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's convenient, right? So
Yeah.
today's we are such a fast-paced world.
Yep.
Everyone wants to go containers and
Yes.
quick stuff, right? But I mean, at that point, like we're really forgetting like what are the health risks that is associated with it, and a lot of
Interesting.
people are not even aware of it actually. So
Very interesting. So now I can like absolutely relate your journey of this to a mission driven objective, right?
exactly.
It's not just a product. You learned
Yeah.
how to build a product in a cheaper way, sell it on a higher price, maintaining the dynamics of various different countries where things are getting produced versus things are getting sold. And then you wanted something mission driven, which is sustainable coffee cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was looking for, like, I was telling you about the cafe story that happened, right? It was such a big moment in my life because I realized that there's such a need. Like, we have so many drinkware brands and all big giant brands
Yeah.
like Owala, Swell, Yeti,
Yeah.
Stanley. They're all great and they're all very similar. Like
Yeah.
all products are very similar with
Yeah.
a different name, right? but they're all bulky.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
for something like coffee, you don't want to carry a bulky container.
Yeah.
And then I also discovered there are lots of like silicon collapsible cups in the
Yeah.
market.
Got it.
So which works well in terms of convenience, but the material is
Oh,
not
yeah.
premium.
Yeah, material is not premium, and like with silicon, I personally have a problem that it smells, like the smell
Exactly.
transfers into the food
Mhm.
or beverage, and then I
Absolutely.
don't have a good feeling of
Yeah.
even silicon things, right? So like stainless steel or like porcelain,
Mhm.
these are things where I feel comfortable.
Exactly.
It doesn't transmit the taste.
Yeah.
So the taste is original, and
Yeah,
like
no.
I have a good feeling
You're
about it.
absolutely right. Because
Yeah.
when I tried the silicon cup, it's funny. Like if you have coffee today, tomorrow you want to have a bubble tea in the same cup, then your bubble tea would have coffee smell in it,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
not the best experience.
Correct, correct.
So I thought, like, how about we take the convenience part of the silicon cup and the premium part of the other brands
Yeah.
and merge it into like a unique product that we could launch. And at that time, I was hunting for like a total unique idea.
Wow.
So I thought this is a great space to get into because, like, I don't know anyone in the world who doesn't own a water bottle or coffee mug.
Yeah.
So my target market is so big, like everyone needs it.
Everyone needs
And
it. It's a beautiful gifting item too, right?
exactly.
Like in at work, like during White Elephant, like and things
Yeah.
like this is a perfect
Yeah,
item.
so
Like
last year we did get a lot of corporate orders from
beautiful.
Google, Databricks, this a few other companies, some
Wow.
architectural firms,
Yeah.
Karma Wallet,
Yeah.
lots of companies. So
And what you mentioned is you took the design of a silicon cup that collapses because you don't want to carry the bulky
Yeah.
coffee cup. People drink water and are able to carry the big Stanley cups because like they are sipping water throughout the day.
Yeah.
But they're not sipping coffee throughout the day.
Exactly.
Like it's maybe 1 or 2 times use and then just
Yeah.
you get rid of it. So instead of like having paper-based plastic cups, you wanted to have something which is stainless steel but
Correct.
collapses. So
Yeah.
this particular thing, what we see collapses, is
It
what you're saying.
collapses. So it's
I
like
just
a 15-ounce beverage container that can go down. You can press it down.
press this and it will
Yeah,
collapse.
just
Wow,
press.
this is exactly like my camera lens where I can zoom in, zoom out, and
That
things
was
like
the
that.
initial inspiration.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautifully designed product.
Thank you.
So I just want to deep dive more into the journey of this particular product, right? You had an experience of selling a product.
Yeah.
Not building it from scratch
Yeah.
because your product manufacturers were in China earlier. They had a product exactly like this. You took that
Yeah.
product, you put your branding on top of it, you shipped it to Amazon fulfillment centers, and then made immense
Exactly.
revenue and profit out of
Yeah.
it, right? So beautiful journey. But now you had a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
You wanted to do something which people have not done it
Yeah.
before, right? Although this looks very neat and clean and simple, which it should be
Took
looking,
us
because
a
like
long
for
time.
external customers,
Yeah.
like product should be very simple, but the design is not easy.
So when I first came up with this concept, I knew that we're getting into a whole different territory,
Yeah.
right? And I knew that, okay, there are drinkware brands and there are silicon brands, but what we are trying to build is super complicated and very different. So I wanted some market validation, and I also knew that designing a cup like this is not going to be an easy path. So I paired up with some industry experts. The founder of Hydro Flask.
Hydro Flask, the water bottle brand.
Yeah, the
right?
water bottle brand.
Yeah.
So I did my own research and saw who's doing who.
And
so,
you approached him on LinkedIn.
Yes,
directly.
I did. Yeah.
So like, and people, because the reason I sorry to interrupt there, but the reason I'm asking is if somebody is reaching out, I have an idea, I want to reach to maybe you,
Yeah.
right? Who has done something. Are people responsive on LinkedIn? Are they willing to help and all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I think you should always put yourself out there and see, worst people won't respond. Like
Correct.
that is the worst, and which is
Yeah.
anyway happening if you don't respond. So never hesitate to reach out to the biggest person in the world, right?
Wow,
So
beautiful.
I thought, and I did my own research, and this person, Travis, he's a good friend of mine now, actually.
Wow.
So he had sold his brand many years ago, and he's not affiliated with Hydro Flask anymore, except for he was the founder, right?
Okay.
So I knew that there won't be any conflict of interest, and it probably would be a good idea to reach out to him. And I did So I wrote to him. I told him that, hey, this is me and I'm trying to build something. I've had a previous exit and, I'm trying to get into a drinkware space. And I saw that you have expertise there. So I just wanted to have a casual conversation with you. Let me know if you are up for it, right? And then he did respond to me.
Wow.
And then I exchanged, I pitched my idea to him and he thought, oh, this is great. You remind me of my early Hydroflask days, which is great to hear.
Yeah.
And from there, so he did introduce me to some of his suppliers in China. And I also knew that, with some talking to suppliers in China, I knew that the cost is going to be super high to
Yes.
make like this because it's stainless steel.
Yeah.
It's double wall.
Yeah.
It has unique locking mechanism
Correct.
and sealing mechanism.
Yeah.
And then with all of these parts, the tooling cost would be super expensive. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that if we are spending so much time and money into it, we wanted to first get a market validation, right?
Right.
Wanted to see if the market really respond to something
Yeah.
like this, right? So we launched on Kickstarter. So I thought
Yeah. So what is
crowdfunding.
Kickstarter?
So basically, crowdfunding is a great way to get funding. If you have a whole different new concept out there, and you want to see
Yep.
if people want it or not,
Yeah.
even before you make the product, right?
Yeah.
So crowdfunding is a great way to kind of find that, right?
Beautiful. Okay.
So what you do is you just put like your video, make a prototype. Make a video based on your prototype, tell people what you're trying to build, and be super honest and raw about where you are in your journey.
Interesting.
And then there are backers. There are like a lot of people who love to support new founders and new inventors, right? And then if you get enough people, they pay you, they pre-order for your product. So you
Interesting.
get funding even before
Yeah.
you have a product out there, and
Yeah.
people are willing to wait a
Yeah.
few months. A lot of our
Yeah.
backers have been so kind to wait for years, actually. So
Beautiful. Even though I kind of knew about the Kickstarter, the reason I asked is for product like these, right? There are no molds available,
yeah,
right? It's a totally net
Yeah.
new product that somebody's building
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's your design.
Mhm.
You're working with manufacturers to improvise on design and like locking mechanism, like
Yeah.
leak proofness of it, and multiple different aspects like the quality, the heaviness of the steel, and
Mhm.
everything. Because
Exactly.
it should feel like a premium material.
Mhm.
Because I think this looks very
Yeah.
premium to me. My question is, initial cost is very expensive.
Very,
Like so,
yeah.
the FBA business that you did was completely bootstrapped
Very
with
different,
$5,000
yeah.
investment that you mentioned. This is like more than 100K worth
Yeah.
of investment initially.
So
Is
initially the molds were 45,000.
Just the
So
molds,
which was
like-
just the molds,
Yeah.
right? And then production cost after that,
everything.
right?
So you figured it out that this is going to be an expensive affair
Yeah.
to even get it
Get it,
started. Like
yeah.
one product out, even a prototype out, right? These days, people can build prototype videos through AI
Mhm.
easily,
Yeah.
like in 10 minutes, right?
Mhm.
I can build a prototype. I put it on Kickstarter. Will I get funding if people like my idea?
Well, I think the thing is, it's absolutely possible to make prototypes out of AI, but I don't recommend it because the thing is, you want to be honest with your backers, right? And you want to really, if you really want to see if it is feasible. So I would really
Makes
want
sense.
people to make a real prototype.
Got it.
Otherwise, they will be in their own land of, that, oh, everything will be taken care of, I have funding, So I mean, the goal is to build a product,
Yeah.
right? So you should definitely at least get a prototype before you get into
Makes
it.
sense.
And people can tell a difference between a AI video and a real video,
Real
right?
video, yeah.
So I think the best way to get funded is to actually shoot yourself, like record yourself and, talk to people. Like,
Yeah.
so in our main video, I didn't come in front of the camera, but like we had about 10,000 backers who were kind of part of my VIP group I'd created,
Interesting.
right? And then I used to often post myself in those groups and tell them where exactly I am part of their group, right? So
Nice.
yeah.
But there would be a lot of people who must be like fooling people, right? In
Yeah.
Kickstarter business,
Yeah.
because like you and that money directly comes to your bank account.
It does, yeah.
Okay. So like how the Kickstarter validates this entire thing, right? Because you were honest in your
Yeah.
journey. You actually ended up making a beautiful
Mhm.
product. But there would be a lot of people like building a prototype, maybe like $10,000, right? And you're getting insane amount of money, maybe 100K.
Yeah.
People can easily run away with a lot of this money,
Correct.
right? So
So my experience, there are not many people who scam on Kickstarter.
Is it?
And
Okay.
it is not easy to do that actually, because running a successful Kickstarter campaign itself requires a lot of upfront investment.
Okay. And how much is that?
So,
Like, how much did you spend on Kickstarter?
even before we spent on Kickstarter, my like total expense was about $40,000. Even before the campaign went live.
For prototyping
Yeah,
it? Just
not
prototype?
prototyping, marketing related. So if you want to have a successful campaign, see, I'll tell you the numbers, right? So my initial goal was $10,000, but I ended up raising $220,000 in just 30 days
On
on
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and some
Wow.
upselling after that, right?
Yeah.
So
And
total 227.
yeah.
So that is not a easy goal. Like that was not even the goal, right? Like it
Yeah.
was way surpassed what we. So that happened because we did a lot of pre-marketing before the campaign, right?
Pre-marketing on
So
Kickstarter.
I mean, there are lots of strategies actually. I can tell you a little bit more on
Yeah.
that, if, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, if you want to run a successful Kickstarter campaign, then you can't just put your listing out there and expect for it to work. It will not work. It will like
Okay.
you would hardly get 4 or 5 people, right?
Got it.
Because Kickstarter is also crowded. It's
Yeah.
not going to support every project,
Yeah, it's
right?
like people might think it's free money.
Exactly.
It's
So
not-
that's
not
why I'm
like
saying
that.
like there are not many scammers, because you have to put in a lot of upfront money to get funded.
Yeah.
And my strategy, and this was my own strategy combined with another agency and some people I knew worked with. So the way to get absolutely successful on Kickstarter and Indiegogo is to make like an email list, right? And what you do is basically reach out to a lot of backers beforehand.
Oh,
So,
got it.
if your campaign is live, even 3 or 4 months before campaign, we'd started marketing and we are building email list of people, right? So that on day one of your Kickstarter, you're already fully funded, right? So I put a
Interesting.
goal of 10,000 and our 10,000 goal was achieved in 6 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you reached a lot of people, people had this context,
Right.
and then when you put this on Kickstarter, it exploded.
Exactly.
Basically.
So we had an email list of about 8,000 people
Where
who
did you
knew
get this email list from?
marketing. So that's where the $40,000 went.
Oh, so there are various different marketing agencies who would give you that,
Yeah,
basically.
or you could do it yourself too. I mean, it's
Wow.
a strategy, right? So what you do is basically show ads, make a landing page, tell people, like just take a few pictures, prototype it, take some short videos, take some pictures, make a landing page, explainer on what your product is, what you're trying to do, and then show it to market it, basically put it on Meta and show ads to people, have people sign up to your list and say, you know what, I'm launching this, and
Wow.
people sign up for the list because they are waiting for it. There are people who are actually supportive of new inventions, so you only
Interesting.
reach out to those people, right? And what you do is then slowly towards when your campaign is going live, you start going on camera and tell people about your journey. Tell people that, okay, I've been working on this and, I'm really passionate to create a product like this. And this is where I'm at a journey. I just met my first supplier and, we just got our design patents filed, things like that. Because
Beautiful.
you want to be super honest and tell them what's happening in your life so that they feel like supporting you. And then once you do that, then slowly people are really connected to you as a person, right?
Correct.
And once that is happening, then then you tell, okay, we are like, T-7 days, T- those kind of things, right? And then people are really waiting on day one of your campaign. They are sitting in front of their computers to back you.
Wow.
So, and that is what happened with us actually. So, super interesting. Like in 6 hours, we were $10,000. That was our goal. And then once that happened, Kickstarters thought, oh my God, this is going to blow really well, right? So Kickstarter then organically started showing to the right backers, and
Got it.
that was the key to our success on Kickstarter.
Makes
So
sense. Yeah, this is perfect. Initially, when I heard about Kickstarter, it seemed to be very, very straightforward for me. Like you put the product out there and you get funding for free. It's not like
It's
that.
not
So
like that at
this
all.
journey, like creating your own product, designing your own product and selling this is, I think, one of the toughest things.
Yeah.
But since you had a lot of experience, you were able to crack this, at least like kickstart this in a very, very successful way, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then obviously at this point in time, you don't have a real product. You
Yeah.
have a prototype, but
Yeah.
you got funding. You got how much? 200K in funding
Yeah.
is what you say.
Yeah.
So you bootstrapped a little bit, and then you got 200K
Yeah.
funding. That this pool of money helped you to like
Get into
get into
yeah,
the patents and
exactly.
like the product design
Really
and the
designing and prototyping
yeah.
and
And you filed patents for this as well,
I
right?
did, yeah. So
And
we
it
have design patents. Actually, it's in 4 countries. It's approved. We have
wow,
patents in 5 countries,
beautiful.
and utility patent is still pending in US. So
What is
yeah.
the difference between design patent and utility patent?
So design patent, if you see the look and feel of the
Mhm.
product, right? The product that you see on the shape of it, and nobody can copy the exact same look and feel of it,
Mm.
right? Utility is more towards the functionality of it.
Got
Like,
it.
if there's a way of locking, if you have a certain way of locking,
Hmm.
nobody can use that type of lock
Hmm.
in their
Okay.
similar concept.
Got it.
So that is the
And people can
basics.
basically try to copy the same product with different mechanisms and still go around it, right? That
Yeah,
is still
so
possible.
that's always a risk.
Yeah.
And there's always way to play around
Yeah.
the idea and try to launch something similar.
Got it. But what you've made is basically tougher for people to
Really
just
tough to get into.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because if somebody really wants to copy this, first of all, they want to have really good investment,
Yeah.
like maybe 100K plus,
Exactly.
while like create or come up with a lot of different ideas on how to design this, right?
Yeah.
Because like you
And
have a
design with a differentiating method.
exactly, so that's not easy. And how much time did you spend with manufacturers out there and designers out there?
So you don't want to get there. It's insane. So okay, so we are at a point where we got funded really well on Kickstarter, and we are now sitting with about 4,000 people who have backed us,
Yeah.
right? And honestly, I was not prepared for it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like answerable to 4,000 people, and I just had like some sort of looks like works like prototype, right? And I didn't know how hard the journey would be
Yeah.
from there, right? So it was, I mean, that was also really tough to navigate because, like, now people give you opinion, they give you money, but they also want
Yeah.
certain things their own way, right? A lot of people have been supportive.
Yeah, people from Kickstarter,
Yeah,
did
the
they give you
backers.
opinions too?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because now they are vested, right?
Oh yeah, it's
So they're
their own
like,
company.
okay, you know what? I don't like the bottom and I don't like this.
Oh my god. Like,
so
but how many people were there? Like how many?
4,400 people.
And then how do you politely say them no?
So it's really hard. And
Yeah.
that is honestly, I felt like it was not my best strength, but I tried. So I used to be very sure to put a monthly update.
Hmm.
Every month I would put one update, and then people would really troll you. There were a lot of people who would be supportive, and some people were like, you know what, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this design. It was super stressful to go through because I'm not a very
Yeah, like this is
customer,
new to me
like,
as
yeah,
well. And then
yeah.
people can get their money back as well, or like their money is.
I mean, they are allowed to, but
allowed to.
most people would just throw their opinion, write anything about you, and then go, right?
Oh
They
my God.
wouldn't,
Yeah, this is very
So that was a
challenging.
tough thing for me to take because I didn't have previous experience with any of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, over time, I started building my own thick skin about, there's
Yeah,
like, I
being-
think the kind of problems you solve in entrepreneurship that really changes you as a person, right? Because like, it's the true test of the person that you become over time, right? So so I mean, I had to face some trolling during that time, which was almost 2 years, and it took us a long time to deliver this product actually, because what seemed tough, but I didn't know it would be so tough. And so we went through about 7 rounds of iteration, actually 4 rounds before delivering, and then 3 rounds after.
And
So
how much time did it take for you to from the concept to like having the first workable coffee cup?
So first working product in my hand came in about a year later, a year after Kickstarter. And then after I approved it, we went through production, right? And then there was also lots of delays where people were like, okay, you know what, you're scamming us, just go. And then people were calling me whatever they wanted. But yeah, that was hard. So once we started, knew that our original version of the cup, and it was called Zilch before actually. The brand name was called Zilch when I started because Zilch meaning zero waste, and sustainability was my mission when I started. It's still a mission.
Yeah.
But the original name was Zilch. niche, and that is what people backed us for. And the original design was also very different than the way it looks
Is
right
it?
now,
Okay.
because over time we had to really refine the product based on what feedback we are getting, right?
Yeah.
So originally we had like 6 segments, and then after a few months, the cost of 6 segments was going through the roof, and
Okay.
so we're like, okay, there's no way we can afford we create like a
Yeah.
practical, working, affordable product
Got it.
with that design. So we had to cut short from 6 segments to 4,
You
and then
reduce the height,
reduce
basically. The height.
height and shape also.
Okay.
And then right now you see the base. There was a different kind of base before.
Okay.
Yeah, so originally we had a different concept, and then every month I would tell them, okay, you know what, this is what we're working on, this is the stage. I would create my own videos, do the testing, and show people where we
Yeah.
stand
Yeah.
in the whole journey. And then a lot of people would be supportive of it. They're like, okay, keep going, keep going. There would be there were many backers who were like super supportive and really rooting. Actually, I met a lot of people in person as well.
Wow.
So yeah, so I mean, I would openly tell people that I'm in Bay Area, and if
Yeah.
somebody's here, I would love to meet them in person, show them where we are, and
Yeah.
really take your feedback.
Yeah.
And then I met some really amazing people over coffee and
Yeah.
gave them products in
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
And so originally, and this is also COVID time, right? So the hardest part of building this was actually I couldn't go to China for the first year.
Okay.
And that delayed the project like crazy, because when you are not meeting anyone in person, you don't know how the culture is, and
Yeah.
there is no connection.
Yes.
And unlike my first company where I was just sourcing, this is not the case now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you're actually building it. And my first supplier was not a very camera person. So the person that I was working with initially, so he would never come on Zoom calls,
Okay.
and he would only write emails.
Okay.
And it was, after a point, it was getting really hard for me to keep this whole improved product design and R&D on emails. And then I realized that if I continue with the supplier, it would take me 4 years.
Oh.
So that's why I decided to go to China, scout for a new product supplier. I met a new supplier, and then I decided to go meet him in person.
Wow.
And then I applied for China visa and everything. And then after COVID, thankfully, it was a lot safer to travel. So I've been to China a few times now.
And how's the
And-
communication part? Like, do you have any translators, or do they speak English properly? Or
Yeah.
like,
So that's what, like, the first supplier, he didn't even speak English, and
it.
he always used translator to write on emails, right? And that was getting really hard for
Yeah.
me, right? So the next time around, the supplier, they had like one person who could speak English, and he was assigned to me.
Okay. That is
So
nice.
at least the communication part got
was sorted.
better, and I was in WeChat, and we always, like, every night I would have 2 hours of meeting with people in China.
Wow.
And then I also, I mean, of course, I went them and in person met them, and that helped with relationship building, because
Yeah.
it's super important. Like,
Correct.
trust is a big part, and
Yeah.
you want to actually go and see how the factories are operating, and because you're doing it at a bigger scale now. So yeah.
And this is product design from scratch, right? You
Exactly.
need to understand the manufacturing process.
Yeah.
If they're trying to do a good job at maintaining the quality and a lot of other standards,
Absolutely.
right? You had Zilch as a brand name earlier, and then we have Faro now, right?
Yeah.
And then when you create a brand name, like, do you have to trademark it?
Yeah.
And what is the process, and how does trademark help?
So trademark is an absolute must, I would say, especially if you're like launching on Amazon sometime, right?
Yeah.
Amazon gives you that special A+ content. It's a special listing
Okay.
that you get only if you have trademark. So I totally recommend it. And trademarking is a very simple thing. Like, a lot of people go fancy and hire people. Don't do it, please. Trademark is like a 30-minute application which anyone sitting at home can do.
Okay.
And
And
I filed for trademark myself.
Got it.
Yeah.
And should I be trademarking Diaries of California too? Like
You
this name?
should, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
It's
before
always
this
a benefit
gets
to get
released, I
out.
need to do this.
Yeah.
Because like the flip side would be somebody would come up with the same name. Obviously, they
Yeah.
won't get the Instagram handle handles and all, but they can claim
They
that
can
this is
stop
my.
you from using.
Oh, okay. If
Yeah.
somebody trademarks it, they can
Yeah.
stop me from
Happened
using.
to us actually.
Okay, is
Yeah.
it with Zilch?
Not with Zilch. So after Zilch, like after 2 years of launching, like, working on Zilch, I realized. So even after Kickstarter, we had a lot of learning on who our audiences are, right?
Yes.
Because initially, Zilch name was just connection to my own thoughts of like how much mission driven I want to make and stuff, right? But over time, I realized that our true customers are not just people who are into sustainability; they are
Correct.
into outdoor audiences, right? Like, so biggest learning from Kickstarter is like our biggest audience are into outdoor living,
Got
are
it.
into hiking, camping, mountaineering,
Yeah, they need to save
yeah,
the space basically, right? And
exactly.
your cup
So
collapses, so it's easy to store while hiking and all, right? So
yeah,
that's your niche audience.
exactly.
Perfect.
So what I realized is just by like using the word zilch is not connecting with those kind of audiences. So even
Okay.
though like my mission is great and the mission doesn't have to change, but the name has to connect with the main audience.
But how did you
And
figure that out? That
so
it's not connecting.
so basically what happened is on Kickstarter, when we were doing a lot of backers, we used to send them surveys, and a lot of feedback and surveys every month. I would send like some forms, right, to get more, because we're trying to gather as much information as we can to kind of learn and make our brand better, right? So in one of the surveys we were like, okay, what are your hobbies, right? And from there we could understand that options, right? We gave options for everything based on what. So not everyone cared about sustainability. Not everyone actually chose that as their option, and their main
Right.
options were very different: backpacking, exploring outdoors, overlanding, and
Interesting.
those things. So I was like, okay, maybe this name is not meant for this.
Okay.
And also this happened, so last year actually my brand was selected as part of REI's accelerator, right?
Okay.
And so before we got selected a year ago, I had applied for it and
Oh,
I didn't
nice.
get selected.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, and I asked them, give me some feedback on why I didn't get selected. And the biggest feedback I got from them was that your branding is not connecting with our audience.
Got it. Wow.
So, and that was the only reason she told me, right? And you're like, okay, you know what? We're getting two different data. One is our audience are into outdoor living, and we have this opportunity of getting into REI, which is tremendously great,
Yeah.
right? And the only reason they would not take us is
Yeah.
our branding.
Yeah.
So
And
something needs to be done in that.
right. And for people who might not be in camping and all, for them to understand, REI is like a safe way of campers, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
you enter that, it's everything around camping goods, sporting goods as well.
Everything, like it's sporting, like my husband is big into
Yeah.
sporting, so he's a big REI member. So yeah, so anyone who's into like hiking, camping,
Yeah.
all like mountain climbing and biking,
Yeah. And it's a
sporting.
physical store, like a super
Yeah,
big store.
they have about 200 stores in the US.
200 stores
Yeah,
in US, and like for campers out there, it's a go-to place.
it is.
And they like what exactly happened with REI? Like they selected
So-
your product.
So REI has a fund and an accelerator. I mean, it's
What is an accelerator? Like for
Okay.
audience who are
yeah,
absolutely new to this.
absolutely. So so when startups, right? Like, so startups, when they're launching their products, there are lots of accelerator who help incubate and accelerate their products, right? Incubators are more of like smaller, like just beginner kind of thing, where super early stage people can get in, and there are like people who are, lots of accelerators actually fund you. They select you if your idea is great, and then they help you launch.
Wow.
So, and in return, they would either take some equity in your company,
Perfect.
or like in case of Arya, they didn't take any equity and they actually gave me a grant of $25,000. So
Wow.
it's just like something.
What's the advantage do they have on this entire
So the
thing?
only advantage is they are actually supporting. They have this like
Mission.
they just mission to support brands. They only select 4 brands every
Beautiful.
year. So
Yeah, so like anything around camping goods,
Yeah.
like you'll definitely get REI support is something that I'm assuming. Like
it's very
once you-
credible.
Wow, that is nice. And you get a place in physical store shelf basically.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that is nice. Okay, continue.
Yeah.
So you got into the accelerator program earlier
Yeah.
they rejected you because
So
of the
the
name
first year
Zilch?
they rejected me because of name, and
Yeah.
that's where we thought of renaming. Second year that closed that program, so I couldn't make it.
Okay.
And then third year we got in last year.
And
Yeah.
then you moved from Zilch to Faro.
Yeah, so in between, like we were hunting for new names. There was also a phase where we had a different name.
Okay.
It was Kodo.
Okay.
And then, just about a month of like, we were just about to. It's a funny story, right? Like, so from Zilch, we were like looking for a different name.
Yeah.
And, me and a few, like a team of people, we came up with some ideas. And we we're also checking for trademarks everywhere and
Yeah.
trying to kind of find a good name for us. I wanted a short name because the cup is short
Yeah.
and it connects with people better.
Yep.
Right. So I felt like Kodo could be a very cute name for
Yeah.
a cup, right? So and Kodo cup is like KK, right? So
Yeah.
it sounds also good. So from there, like what happened is we were just about to put the names on the cups. The cups were ready.
Interesting.
And we were about to just engrave those names, and we
Yeah.
got a letter. We got a letter from a random company
Was
that
it?
we cannot use that mark.
Okay, but how did they even like come to know about like your like going with Kodo? Like because you put this on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I did put it on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Thankfully. I'm glad I did.
And they saw it, right? Otherwise, like you would
yeah.
have spent money on printing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm so glad that they saw, and it also makes me happy that I was visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they saw my post and I got a letter from them that you cannot use this, and it was right on time. I mean, I was crushed when I heard that.
Yeah.
But I was also happy. It was a blessing disguise that we didn't print any of those logos. And then in about a week, we decided to change the name. And in 7 days, we changed the name, found a new name.
Okay.
Because we didn't want the production to wait, right? Like, so we didn't have enough time to kind of come up with a new name. So we like super fast came up with like 7 names and then came up with a new name called Faro, which is great.
Yeah. And the issue was like they had a trademark for Kodo.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, apparently there's some really, I'm not going to use the name, but there's a big retail store in Texas, which they have their own drinkware brand, which no one has heard of.
Okay.
And it's Koda.
Koda. K-O-D-A.
Or something like that.
Okay.
It's Koda or something like
Yeah.
that. So, and apparently it's very similar, so there could be confusion.
Oh, seriously? Like, it's like, they're two different, like for
Yeah,
me, they're two different names, right? So
Exactly.
people can, if you file a trademark, for example, Faro, if I go and make Fara or some
Farah or
yeah,
something,
exactly. So people don't
Cannot
like
use
it. Yeah.
it because
Oh, is
it acts confusion. Like for example, your Diaries of California, right? Somebody can say I'm using Diary of California, but it's still like causing confusion, which I understand, right? Like
Got
so, even you don't want to be in a place where the names are so similar,
Yeah,
right?
and lawmakers support it. Like
Yeah.
what is that website for filing trademark?
USPTO.
USPTO. So
Yeah.
USPTO supports
Yeah,
this entire
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And trademarking is a 30-minute process.
It's
If you're starting
super
a new
easy.
business, the first thing that you need to
Yeah.
do is trademark the name and make sure that.
So so I'll clarify that. Filing doesn't give you the right.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's
Even
why.
if you've not filed it,
Yeah.
even if like let's say and first in use is super important, like who was in the market first,
Got
even
it.
if they've not filed it. So
Interesting.
that's a very different rule that a lot of people
Yeah,
don't know.
there's a lot of ambiguity around this, right?
Yeah.
So basically, but you filed it and you got a confirmation that you filed it. It wasn't approved or anything.
Yeah.
But now you got an approval for Faro?
Yes. No, we don't have approval yet. We just
Okay.
filed for it.
But you're first
we've
in the
done
market.
like this time around, then I did professional help. I was like, no, this time I'm not gonna take any
Yeah.
chance. So I paid decent money to kind of find out that there's no one else doing this. And so that at least I can sleep well in the night
Wow,
about this.
this is
So
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, because like changing names, you have to go and change Instagram handles, LinkedIn handles,
yeah.
everything, right? And you
Exactly.
should find like all the handles properly, then the domain name and
Yeah.
everything, right? So earlier
And
you
the
had
branding
Zilch.
is a big part of
Yeah,
it,
like,
right?
and-
Your website, everything is like, my website with Zilch was very different than
Yeah.
the website I have with Faro because
Yeah.
the name and the branding is
Yeah.
a big part of that
Yeah.
brand identity, right?
Exactly. And it's not helping in any of the processes basically and the challenges, right?
Yeah.
Like basically this is just a nuisance that got created where you had to just constantly change the
Exactly.
names. And but yeah, this is one of the key lessons that
Yeah.
people would learn from this
Yeah.
conversation, probably.
Absolutely.
That like enough market research around the names and other
Mm-hmm.
things, right? So, but thank you for sharing this so transparently,
Yeah.
because not everybody would want to share this, but like, thank you. A lot of people would understand what it takes to build a brand from
Build.
scratch,
Yeah.
right? So, I would definitely recommend people who are starting new, start first with an idea, and if, like, especially from if they're developing a product. I'm not talking about digital things like software.
Yeah.
If you're developing a physical product, first learn how to sell,
Yeah.
then go into creating your own brands,
Yeah.
and then you purposely chose not to sell this on Amazon, right?
Not yet,
Not
because
yet. Yeah.
like we like so far we went through 7 rounds of iteration,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is a final product and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would still wait for a little bit longer
Yeah.
before we put it on Amazon, and
Yeah, because what
because a
I've
lot of people might copy, and you
Yeah.
want your branding to be out there. Your
Yeah.
brand should be known before you put, like, it's a whole different kind of business than
Right.
what I did before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to be super careful about
Yeah.
it.
What I've noticed is a lot of people who build a physical product don't put directly that product on Amazon.
Yeah.
First is people are afraid that somebody would copy it. Second is like reviews and
Yeah.
everything, because their product is very new.
Yeah.
You don't know like the returns and a lot of
Exactly.
other headache, like
Yeah.
bad review can just destroy your product. So you want to be safe. So you use maybe Shopify. Like
Yeah,
what did
so
you
right
use
now
to
we are
build
on Shopify. Our website is on Shopify.
And how is it
And,
easy is it to create a website on Shopify?
Yeah, I mean, I rely on freelancers. I have my own like go-to person for everything.
Got it.
Because like this time around, I outsourced a lot of work because, like, I know that the scale
Yeah.
that I'm operating is very
Yeah.
different. Like in my first business, I did everything by myself,
Yeah.
and it was a great learning, good thing. But this time around, like, I've also been focused on fundraising. So we have some angel investors part of our
Yeah.
like startup, and
Yeah.
so when you're fundraising, I would say like about 80% of your time goes in fundraising,
Correct.
and then the rest of the 20% you're building your business,
Yeah.
right? So it's a lot of work, and you
Yeah.
do want to outsource as much
Yeah.
as possible.
This is a classic Shark Tank kind of startup, right? So did you get an invite from Shark Tank, or did you even apply to Shark Tank?
I actually, they approached me
Oh wow.
2 years ago, actually 3 years ago.
Through LinkedIn,
No,
Kickstarter.
so through Kickstarter.
Okay. Wow.
So when our brand, so basically we got fully funded $10,000 in 6 hours. 3 days after our Kickstarter, I got a message on Kickstarter that, hey, I'm a casting producer at Shark Tank. And I felt like, okay, somebody's just fooling me. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is not real. But I thought, okay, why not? Just somebody gave me their email. I'll go and try to see. And it was a legit person.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then I went through first round with her. And then a few months later, I got second round with her.
Nice.
And then there was also a video round. We got that cleared.
Wow.
And then I was at a phase where they were literally discussing what dress I'm going to wear on Shark Tank.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Interesting.
But then the product was not ready. So,
Okay.
so I deferred the application.
Mhm.
And I felt like at that point, that was the right decision also,
Yeah.
because I don't feel like we were there with the
Yeah.
product. Like
Yeah.
I was not confident that
Yeah.
I would show my products to the sharks and they would feel happy about
Because
it.
most of the products that I've seen on Shark Tank, they are like they spend 2 to 3 years selling the
Yeah.
product, and
Yeah.
then like they go into COGS and revenues and things like that. I'm a
Correct.
big
Yeah.
Shark Tank fan.
Yeah.
It inspires me so much to start something of my own. I don't have enough guts to do that at this point in time. Like Shark Tank is a very beautiful platform. It inspires so many people, and I'm
Absolutely.
sure like they approached you. That would have given a lot of confidence.
Lot of
to-
validation and
exactly,
confidence, yeah.
exactly about your product, right? And are you planning to appear on Shark Tank anytime soon, or do you have
So
any-
not yet. So I mean, the first year I decided to defer the application, which I still feel like it was a good decision. The second year, the same person was like, you know what, come back again. You won't have to go through the rounds again. Just come back again, right? But when I reached out to her, those people had already joined some other companies. So, and I didn't have
okay.
another person. And yeah, so right now we are not like super desperate
Yeah.
about it.
But you've
We'll
got
see,
funding covered, right?
Yeah.
The idea of Shark Tank is one is to get the funding.
Yeah.
Second is to get the
Exposure,
visibility.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So funding part you're sorted, right? So
Yeah.
you like went to multiple angel investors just through cold calls, cold emails, and things like that.
Actually, the first investor came I met this person at an accelerator.
Okay.
So after Kickstarter, I was like, I'm building something totally different. I need the right structure. So I was part of this accelerator called New Chip Accelerator. And this person, Sam, he was like, he was my mentor. So I could approach many mentors. So I just had like a casual call with him. And it was just the first call I had with him. Really nice person. And he was like, you know what? I really like what you're building, and you have great traction on Kickstarter. So, you know what? If you're looking for funding, let me know. And at that point, I was not even thinking about it. And I said, yeah, why not? Right. Like, so I had then another call with his partner. And, a month later, he funded me $50,000.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
And then you registered this as a LLC, S Corp, C Corp, or like
So
what?
it's an S Corp that acts like C Corp,
Okay.
and it's a Delaware C Corp company.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I wanted to ask that question. I asked this to one more person. Like, why do a lot of people apply to Delaware-based companies? So California also provides your LLC or S Corp, C Corp license, right? What is the difference between applying to multiple like states where you're not even resident of?
yeah. So, I mean, Delaware, most startups has Delaware C
Yeah,
Corp,
like that's what I
C
see in the
Corp
Shark Tank.
companies, right? And then the reason is, I think a lot of their laws are very investor friendly, and investors actually prefer that. So, I mean, it's just if you are planning to fundraise, just no brainer, just
Yeah, yeah, you don't have to stay there for getting a
no.
C Corp,
So
S Corp.
so we have two addresses,
Yeah,
and
that
so
that
that's
works
a totally
easily.
legal and legit thing to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
So
exactly. And what is the difference between LLC, S Corp, and C Corp?
So C Corp, if you're not looking to find funding and investors, then go for LLC. I think, like, to be honest, I don't want to get into too much tax thing. It's
Yeah.
more of like on the tax side of it. C Corp is very investor friendly. So if you want to get into fundraising at some point, you should absolutely go for a C Corp company, so that,
Got it.
because, then you have different instruments that you use for funding, right? Like SAFE is one of them, convertible notes is another one. So people, it's just a very simple structure if you're fundraising.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So you went through a lot of your experience and the beautiful journey from working at various different investment banks to building this beautiful cup out there, right?
Yes.
You explained us a lot of struggles and that go in, a lot of things that you want to put your blood, sweat, and everything out
Yeah.
there, right? Tell me one success story that inspires people to do something beautiful like this.
There are lots of, like, I would say, it all sounds very flashy and good, but when you're actually living that life, it's not that easy. And so I rely on micro wins, right? And there are
Yeah.
like I don't have one success story, but there are like many mini small
Correct.
wins that you keep getting, because
Yeah.
like entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey,
Yeah.
right? Because like there is no boss about you. You
Yeah.
have to be your own boss.
Yeah.
You have to be super self-motivated.
Yep.
And there's no structure. Nobody's telling you do this, do that.
Yeah.
Every day you have to get up and tell yourself
Yeah.
what job you're giving yourself,
Yeah.
and move the needle forward and come
Right.
up with like really weird, wacky strategies to
Yeah.
make it work, right? So most of the times, about 80% of the time, you would see failures. So it's only the 10 or 20% micro wins that keep you going, because otherwise you
Yeah.
would be like putting 100
Yeah,
times,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for example, one of my customer, she texted me and she was like, I was at an airport and I was drinking coffee out of Zilch. It was Zilch at that time, and the cup fell down.
Okay.
And thankfully, the lid was tightly closed, and she was terrified when the cup fell down, but not one drop came out of it.
Wow.
And
nice.
she was so happy about it, and she wrote it on her Instagram and also texted me. And that was like the moment of life,
Yeah.
was go through like 50 million experiences
Yeah.
that crush you down, but
Yeah.
a small message like that can actually make it all worth it.
Beautiful. One last question before we go to rapid fire round.
Sure.
You mentioned that like entrepreneurship or business is a very lonely job on a regular basis,
Yeah.
right? There are two things, right? One is people usually there are a couple of friends who discuss that let's start something,
Yeah.
right? lot of people operate in a team of 3 or 4 with like maybe 25% each equity, right? You started with 100%
Yeah.
equity and 100%
Yeah.
energy to begin this entire journey.
Yeah.
Why did you not choose to have somebody as your business partner?
I think it's always a good idea to have multiple people. In my case, I feel like, if somebody is being your co-founder, you have to know them for a long time.
Yeah.
And in my own circle, I didn't have people working in CPG space who could bring complementing experience
Yeah.
as what I have, right?
That is also
So
important. Yeah.
to me, like I didn't really, I could meet people, but I wouldn't be able to trust new people with such a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Building things alongside me,
Yeah.
right? And I've seen a lot of people who just meet and become co-founders, and then they have their own problems and the dynamics are not working, and ultimately the company gets closed, right? So I would recommend having multiple founders. It's a great thing, because doing it alone is super hard. So always a great idea to have people work together, but then you have to know that person and really trust that person. And if they have the same amount of ownership not in terms of like the percentage in the company, but actually how much they care about it, right? And if you and that person have different skill sets, because you don't want the same you don't want somebody who's a mirror of you, right? You want someone, okay, I know this is my skill, and the other person brings a totally different skill set,
Complementing skills are absolutely important.
So in my case, I just didn't know anyone like that, and I didn't know anyone long enough to kind of build this alongside
That is absolutely a very good point, because it's not that you just start hunting co-founders on LinkedIn. You won't recommend that, right?
I mean, it may or may not work, but then it's like a chance, right? Like, and it's
there's a website called Y Combinator as well, where people hunt co-founders as well, right? So, but I'm curious to know, maybe invite somebody who has done that and would want to share the experience. But thank you so much. Like, it was so much that I learned from you personally. Faro, like, this is how the packaging looks like. Again, this is not an advertisement of this product. But I just want people to get inspired by this entire journey.
Sure.
And people who want to create products of their own.
Yeah.
Like, again, hardware, software, like a lot of these things or learnings are common, right?
Yeah.
Softwares might be easy to launch with zero cost. Now through AI, you can create 10 apps in a day. But launching a physical product has its own challenges, own journey. For software, there's nothing called Kickstarter, right? But for like hardware products, there are websites like Kickstarter who can help you in initial funding, which is a great thing again. So I think every product has its own journey, has its own pros and cons. So hats off to entire journey that you had. And thank you so much for sharing this experience with us. I want to go to the rapid fire round with this. Corporate life or entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship.
Okay. What mistakes should the first time founders avoid?
Is to not glamorize entrepreneurship and not get into it just for the title, and really know that it's a super difficult journey.
Yeah.
And if you are okay for it,
freedom or stability? So,
I would say actually freedom. Freedom is a very I don't know how to call freedom, because there's a meme where they say that I left my 9 to 5 to work 24/7, right? If you call that as a freedom, yes, you would get a lot of your own flexibility, but then your brain doesn't shut up.
Actually, very well said, because people think that, like, people always think grass is greener on the other side. Like, I'm bored of this entire thing. There's too much pressure. AI might take my job and all. But the moment you quit, you've lost that comfort zone, stability and everything. If you're ready to work 24/7, put your blood, sweat, everything, put you at risk, then this is a thing for you. Profit or purpose?
In today's world, purpose.
Purpose, okay.
Because it's possible.
Passion or practicality?
Mix of both.
Mix of both. Sustainability is overrated, do you agree?
Yeah, there's a lot of greenwashing. The people who are like building any product and call it all sustainable, right?
I feel sustainability and protein, these two things are exploited.
Exactly.
Like protein based, like everything, you'll find either sustainability with every product or protein included in every food product. Like recently I get a lot of ads of protein based like Indian snacks. Which if you look at the calorie count, they're not.
Indian,
Okay. Most people stay in jobs because of fear. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And stability.
Entrepreneurship is glamorized, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality
Yeah.
is the
The
total
reality is very different.
very different.
Yeah.
Would you ever go back to investment banking?
No.
New York or California? The reason I'm asking is you're originally from
Yeah.
when you landed, you were in New York, worked in New York, then moved to California.
At that phase, when we didn't have kids, New York was better.
Yeah.
Now we have kids, so California is better.
Okay.
So
One word for your journey.
resilience.
Anything for the people that you want to communicate? Like, should they, if somebody has a 9 to 5, wants to quit,
Mhm.
like, what should they do?
I would say know that how much ready you are to fall, because in entrepreneurship you'll have to fall 10 times and get up 11th time, right? And you really have to be ready for it. Know that are you really ready for it?
Hmm.
And you would lose all your stability, but you would get a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
So if you're ready for it, please
Yeah.
go for it, because there's one life
Yeah.
and it's all worth it
Yeah,
in the
and
end.
you'll get that kick on regular basis, whether it's a kick in a
Yeah.
negative way or,
Or
a,
positive
like
way.
a
They're
positive
like a
way.
roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
It's like a super roller coaster
Yeah,
ride.
I totally second
And
that.
you
Yeah.
know, there was this video I saw. Mark Cuban said that you only have to win once, so it doesn't matter how many times you fall.
Yeah,
So you
no,
only have
because
to
a
win.
lot of times I feel I watch Shark Tank, right? I feel so good, like oh wow, this, like whatever they're done, like it feels very glamorized. To
Yeah.
be very honest, that's why, and that's where I asked that question. It is glamorous in a certain way, but the daily hustles, people just tend to ignore it.
Yeah.
The actual reality is something that people should be aware of.
It
right?
is like it's a uncharted territory.
Yeah.
So you have to make your way in that,
Yeah.
right? And there's no one to tell you
Yeah.
what the way is.
Yeah.
So every day you would have you would make goals for yourself by yourself.
Yeah.
And work on it.
Yeah.
And you don't know if the goals are correct,
Yeah.
right? So that also is a learning. And then you see maybe the goals are wrong, then you pivot, right?
Yeah.
And then if you think that okay, you're going in the good direction, then you have to keep going.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
hurdles coming, just keep going for it. So
Yeah.
it's just hard.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely inspiring. And thank you so much, Vandita, for sharing this with
Yeah.
us, sharing this with the entire audience out
Thanks
there.
for having me. I'm super happy,
Yep.
to be here. And
Cool. Good luck for Faro, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you'll shine in the field of business and whatever you do, because you're such a nice person. Thank you so much.
Thank you.